Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Truth About Real Estate Investing Show. My name is Erwin Cito, and I want to start off by saying thank you, everyone, for the birthday wishes. I turned 42 today. My birthday this time last year will be a day to remember. Uh, Much was unknown, but March 23rd, 2020, so this time last year, was actually the bottom of the stock market crash. So, and prices only went up from there. So my birthday last year it will be forever remembered as a moment in history. Uh, the year to come is much more promising than the one that just passed. Much of the unknown is past us now, and there's much hope ahead with the vaccines. My parents have both had their first vaccine, and I'm excited for them, and I personally can't wait to have my own. Um, this past weekend, Cherry surprised myself by taking me and some friends out to a gun range in Brantford, where we got to sample 4 different guns, and plus I got to try out a bonus rifle because it was my birthday. They call it a birthday shot. That's my kind of birthday shot since I don't really drink. I'm not a huge gun nut by any means, but it's fun to target shoot once or twice a year. And with that bonus rifle, I got to shoot it in front of all my friends, and so I got lucky enough to hit a bullseye in front of everyone. So beginner's luck, beginner's luck. With the year that the way the year has the way the year has with the way the year has gone, it's just I've had a very successful year, but what really stands out is just how important it is to spend time with friends, like normal times. Now, a birthday tradition at my brokerage, Rockstar Real Estate, is that the birthday person must share words of wisdom. That's what we call them. They're not really good words of wisdom. There's not much wisdom here to be shared. I hope you guys realize that in the show. So what I'd like to share is a quote from T. Harv Eker. Quote, "How you do anything is how you do everything." End quote. I often repeat these words whenever I'm evaluating a potential business opportunity, partnership, and specifically when evaluating one's character. In the real estate world, just straight up, there are many people in this industry who have poor reputations and poor business ethics. Something I personally stay away from. So these people are people I personally stay away from. I've saved myself a ton of trouble by doing so. And because what I've learned is many of these people with these poor reputations live up to those reputations, and it ends badly for those who are less diligent. So please take care out there. Reference check business partners, no different than you would reference check your tenants. On a brighter note, this Friday, the Hamilton Basket Brigade is back in action in advance of Easter. For those who don't know, we operate Easter, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. So that now being spring, for Christmas we focused on winter clothing. For spring, we're focusing on spring clothing, spring jackets and spring clothing specifically. A lot of footwear for elementary school students in Hamilton, Ontario. So we have purchased $70,000 worth of clothing from our wholesale partner, Bargains Group in Toronto. The best part is this only cost us $20,000, including shipping costs. The plan is we'll receive shipment at my friend's office building. His name's Charles Waugh. He's donating the use of his office building in Hamilton, where we at iWin Real Estate and Real Estate's Tax Tips, so my business and my wife's business, we will sort through the clothes to separate them and then split them up between 8 different elementary schools, 8 different local elementary schools. The school administrators will take it from there by inviting kids in need down to the office to pick up clothes. It's actually kind of funny when I wrote that down. When you got called down to the office, it usually was bad things. But we're gonna make some kids happy this Easter. The pandemic has definitely made our charity work more difficult in restricting our volunteers from gathering, reducing our donations. But as always, something I've learned a long time ago, something my father taught me was no one's going to take pity on you. So we had to pivot, change strategies. We've completely changed the charity and how we operate. We've turned over some leadership at the charity as well, and then also Cherry and I invested more in order to fund donations for the charity because the needs are greater than ever. No one's going to wait on us. So on to this week's show. This week we have my friend, the lovely Susan White Livermore, who's here to share about her upcoming book, how she's changed her diet and her eating to get back to her high school weight, the homework she's giving her coaching clients so they feel comfortable investing other people's money, she's stock hacking now for a 51% return. She's already done 4 real estate investment deals this year, mostly flips, in just the first 9 weeks of 2021, while sticking to a 15-hour work week. You definitely want to listen to this show and find out how she does it. And for fun, I've asked Susan what dating app she's using. So please enjoy the show. Hi, Susan White. Do we call you Susan White?
No, I'm full Susan White Livermore still.
Okay.
Same as my kids.
Still Susan White Livermore.
Mm-hmm.
SWL? Does anyone call you that?
I do. It's so much easier to do SWL than anything else. Right. So I'll never put I always just do SWL for a lot of stuff.
Okay. So what's keeping you busy these days?
What's keeping me busy? A little bit of everything. I just picked up 4 flips since January, end of December. Bought one yesterday, which is awesome. What else am I? I'm doing stock hacking. I am in the process of writing a different book, not a real estate investing book, but a book on bringing joy into the creation of making money or anything in life. I'm on the dating scene, which is a whole new world to me and sort of a fun adventure.
Okay. So it's been some time since you've been on the show.
Yeah, at least a year, if not longer.
Okay. We used to have 12 listeners, I think. Now we're like 16.
Ooh.
So for the new 4 listeners, can you let them know, for those who don't know Susan White Livermore, how many properties are you at now?
I was at 36. I sold a bunch of Calgary stuff, so I'm just below that, but I've bought buildings in the process. So I don't know. Units, maybe 80, 90 in there somewhere.
Okay, so how many houses versus how many apartment buildings?
Close to 30 houses and 3 apartment buildings.
Right, but you've sold a bunch. So you've actually you're probably. Do you think you've had over 100 properties then?
Oh yeah, by now I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
especially if you include. I've been for the last 6 months. I've been doing a lot of flips.
Right.
Just because that's what's working the best. I kind of move to the market, what the market entails or allows. Mm-hmm. And right now, building legalized suites just doesn't make a lot of sense because the property values are too high for the rents.
Right.
So flips have been sort of my fun lately. Mm-hmm. And so I've been working with last summer I did university students, and then starting again, I'm going to do another group of university students flipping another house. So it's a bit of publicity, but it's fun. Like it makes the whole experience making money and showing them how to make money and giving them a job at the same time. It's fun.
What started you on this university kids project? Is there a name for it?
Not really.
Susan and Kids?
Susan and Kids. To be honest, I had picked up this flip and I thought I was going to bring an investor in to do the flip. And we got started talking and he's like, I'd love to do the contracting for it. And I was like, all right, sure. Why not? He's like, well, I need a team. And I'm like, well, why don't we bring in some university students? I mean, it was early COVID, so I knew they needed jobs. And I thought, what a great way of coaching and teaching kids how to flip a property and let them see the reality of HGTV. It's really not as exciting as they make it out to be. Like they got to see basically a hoarder house where they had to completely empty it out and renovate pretty much every aspect of it. But it was so rewarding for them because they got to see awful to beautiful. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So it was just kind of organically in one coffee conversation. I never got my investor, but I picked up a contractor and I was like, worst comes to worst, if this doesn't work, I'll bring in one of my other team members to run it and I'll get this thing going.
Yeah, for folks listening, we have a birthday going on. Apologies.
That's all good. So that's how it started. And it was just so much fun. And we ended up making significantly more money just because of what the market's doing. So I was like, I'd like to do that again. And the kids loved it. And I was getting parents call me constantly saying, I'd love my kid to participate.
Oh, wow.
Had a lot. And so this summer I'm getting some of those extra kids involved.
And then the past kids, are they coming back or?
Some of them are. Some of them are. Yeah, we're doing this reno is a little bit bigger than the last one, but I've got 2. We'll see. Actually, I have 3, so we'll see which one, how many of the students actually do. We'll see. For fun.
That's cool.
That is cool. It's a way of bringing, like, doing flips, because they were getting a little bit boring for me. I don't typically go to my flips or to my reno projects that often. I send my assistant, but it was just fun to see the kids' perspective on the whole procedure. And there's a lot of joy and fun in watching them and seeing their wheels turn. And I gave them, like, I had them do my shopping for me. So I was like, okay, here's your budget. Here's what you need to go get. Off you go. So it was cool.
Wow. They were able to operate that independently?
Yeah. Well, they had cars and
do they have leadership?
Yeah. Well, I chose 2 university students that I knew could handle that skill. Like, I had a little bit of foresight into seeing their skill level. And so this year we've kind of gone to them and said, okay, you have other people that are similar to you. We'd love to bring them on board. So did I get lucky on that quality? No, I don't know. Maybe.
Are those kids coming back?
I'm hoping. Yeah, I'm hoping.
And then
how
are they compensated? Like,
I paid them salary, but sort of for their hours. Sorry, hourly.
Okay. Very cool. That's great.
It was awesome. It was so much fun. Like, it brought new life into doing flips, right? And truth be told, it took us probably an extra 2 weeks but for me, it was worth every cent.
Okay, so I have to ask, because I'm sure parents are thinking this. Are you taking more kids? Because I'm thinking to my own summer experiences and working when I was in university. Like, they made money, but they weren't
educational like this, right?
Yeah, they didn't have the same redeeming qualities as what you're talking about.
No, because I would go. They called me Gazoo from the Flintstones, because I would pop in, give my little insight, and pop out.
Right.
But I would go in and we'd talk about, okay, I bought it for this price, and here's how much it cost for the closing costs. And each day we'd talk about, like, what we had spent in terms of expenses for, like, anything we had to buy, the expenses of their hourly rate, like all that. So they were watching the spreadsheet grow and then when we finally sold, I was like, okay, tell me how much profit we ended up making. So it's kind of cool. Am I bringing on more kids? I don't know. I'm actually have sort of stepped back this year. The contractor is kind of organizing that. So I don't have an actual answer, because I'm trying to keep to my 15 hours a week.
Okay. Because of the 16 listeners, some of them are probably their parents and they might be reaching out to you.
Well, you know what? Reach out to me to learn how to do your own.
Yeah,
that's
do your own.
Better way of doing it, right? Let's get as many parents or investors teaching students how to be entrepreneurs as we possibly can, because I think kids need to see a different way of living, right?
Yeah. That would have been helpful for me at that age, because I wasn't even thinking about real estate. All right. There's so many things to cover, especially since I have your book outlined. Let's talk about the book.
Yeah.
Did the real estate book go out?
Not yet. This other book was sort of just percolating within me. So the other book has a lot of mindset in it, but this one to me just speaks of who I am and the greatest value I bring to entrepreneurs, those wanting to get into an entrepreneur. Like, I consider myself a great real estate investor, but there are, not gonna lie, there's better investors out there than me. I have learned from those people that are doing it really, really well, and I've copied them, and I have done really well. And the thing that is different about me is I'm taking what I'm learning from other coaches more on mindset stuff and applying it to my real estate investing. And to me, that's where I add the largest value. So I feel like that's what I needed to bring to the world at large. So the other one's on hold. It probably will come out. I've actually given copies. People are like, well, I just want to know. And I've given copies away, like just my rough draft, to people so that they get my version of what you absolutely need to know in order to get into real estate investing. So the things that you can't change once you've purchased the property, those things that you got to get right. But this other book is more on mindset. It's more on not grinding it out. It's more on not hustling, and how can you do this thing called real estate investing, or anything for that matter, and make it enjoyable, and watch how successful you can be. The more enjoyable, more fun you can make it. Because what happens is your resilience is up. When you add joy and fun and excitement to making money, you last a lot longer. You go through the rough periods a lot easier. You attract more high energy people that want the same, and you find solutions a lot faster, right? So yeah, that has been my push on, it doesn't have to be a grind. There are easier ways of doing it. And so that's what this book is kind of focusing on, kind of playing with the title. We talked in our mastermind meeting yesterday, Joy in the Journey. But it's just my philosophy in life. And part of the reason why I went down to the 15 hours a week, and because it can be done in 15 hours, although there's going to be a lot of backlash, people saying it can't, but I believe and I practice it. 4 deals in 2 months, picked up 4 deals in 2 months, and I have not been working a 15-hour work week.
So we were talking before we were recording about you were sharing how when you first started when you started getting educated in real estate, how it was a joy.
Yeah.
And I think about when I started, yes, it was a joy. And then somewhere along the way for myself, it started becoming a grind.
Yes.
So that leads me to 2 questions. My first question is, what if someone finds the education as a grind? Like even someone starting off.
You're looking at the wrong education. You've picked the wrong thing to do. If you're not excited, don't pick it up because it's not meant for you.
Right.
Or maybe you need a different perspective on it, because let's go back to the stock hacking thing, because I looked at it and I thought, I can't do this. How long did I say, no, this isn't for me. I'm not going to do it. And then just enough of exposure, and you showed me how to make it fun. So maybe you haven't found the person that has figured out how to make it fun, but you showed me how to make it fun. And now to me, it's like a game. We were talking when I first arrived that I sort of see it like a video game for me, right? And it's not a grind. I don't have to be the smartest kid in the room. I don't have to. I cheat. I cheat. I literally buy the leads and I input the leads. And I maybe play a little bit more aggressive than what the leads are, but I'm also aggressive in getting out of the position faster than the gentleman that sends the leads out.
We can talk about leads. Okay.
So faster than I'll come out of it faster than Lee will come out of it.
For the listeners' benefit, Susan took the course. So you get the trade alert service from Lee Lowell, which all of our students get for 12 months. And we were talking about this as well. Like, school teaches you not to cheat.
Yeah.
You have to know how to do everything rather than knowing
you get chastised for it, right?
Yeah.
And then I wrote a blog about this, and I called it the cheating paradox. Because in school, you're taught to be the smartest kid in the room. Like, that's how you're going to be successful, is the smartest kid in the room. That's guaranteed life happiness, right? And we grow up believing that if I can only get C's and D's, I'm destined for a mediocre life. And if you cheat and you were to buy a paper off the smartest kid in the room and you got caught, that would totally be chastised. When you get out in the real world, the best and easiest and fastest way to make money is to cheat off the smart people that love what they do, right? So they're sitting there, they're not grinding it out. If you were doing it, it would be grinding it out, but they're sitting there geeking out and loving every minute of sitting in front of these screens. I have no desire to do that, but I am happy to pay someone to do that and tell me, yep, do this today and do this tomorrow. And it's the best of both worlds, right? So we pay people to do what they love, and we benefit from that. Yeah. And that's how you bring joy to whatever you're doing.
Yeah, like you said, there's a way of catering whatever it is you're trying to accomplish to your own, whatever it is that you're comfortable with doing.
Yes.
So for example, before we were recording, you were talking about buying buildings. And you're doing some of them with partners.
Yeah. I don't want to learn how to do it.
Right. So you're doing it passively.
Yeah.
Are you just putting up the capital or credit, or
no credit?
Oh, credit. So you're just putting money into deals.
I'm just putting money in the deals, taking equity share.
Yeah.
It's just because I don't want to learn how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went out and sought out people that I enjoy hanging out with, because it's an excuse to get together and have a business meeting and have lunch once a month or whatever, and build money at the same time. So I hand over a couple checks. Well, right now I'm buying about one larger building a year. But to me, learning that, I just don't want to do it. To me, it lands into the grinding world. So it's so much better for me to hand my money over to someone that really enjoys doing it and benefit from their experience and their joy. That's how I do it.
Do they have any projections for you in terms of?
Yeah, they usually, most of the time we're looking to pull my money back out, or the majority of it, within 2-3 years. So he's turning over tenants, and he'll like, I've done nothing, and he'll like, oh, we got a tenant out today and the rent was at $900 and we've just raised the rent up to $1,500. Like, that is like, makes me giddy, right? Or they'll like, the last one, they pulled somebody out or someone moved out, and it was a 2-bedroom. They moved it to the 3-bedroom. They were paying like $900, and the new people they brought in for $1,700. So like, that's so much fun for me. I don't have to do anything, and I just benefit from someone else's doing what they love to do.
Are there ROI projections as well?
Well, as soon as I get my money back, it's infinity. Right? So there are, I don't even really calculate anything, because I know in 2-3 years I'm going to get my money out.
Right. And
it's about moving your money as fast as you possibly can. So it's an infinity building to me in 2-3 years.
That's a pretty good pitch. I think we're going to leave the guy's name out because I know who you're talking about.
But I'm looking for multiple people like that, right? And I'm leading people. Like, not everyone wants to do what we do, but I'm like, you know what? Everybody can benefit from it. And let me show you how. And these are the people that I trust and really enjoy working with. And so I'll lead other people to them, because it's, again, cheating off other people, taking a piece of the pie. You do not have to grind it out. You do not have to hustle.
Right. And then for the person who is probably starting out, does need to hustle a little bit.
Yeah, to learn.
Because I've always told people, beginners especially, is people who have trouble raising capital is, I always say to them, you find a good deal, you'll find the money.
Yeah. I think we were talking about that before. And so many people try and use their own money. When I coach people, that's one of the first things I want them to do. I don't care if you could have all the money and credit you possibly want. I don't want you to use your own money. I want you to be looking at using other people's money, because you got to get comfortable with it, because you're going to run out eventually. We all do. And you have to understand how to raise money. It's just part of the game, right? And it's not as hard. The other thing is, it's not as hard as they think it's going to be. So we talk about, like, I'll give them an assignment. I want you to raise $100,000. And they initially think, oh my God, that's a massive amount of money. But when you really think about it, how many people own their own house in the GTA don't have access to $100,000, particularly in the last 2 months?
Yeah. You're a homeowner in a GTA. You own something on the land. You probably made more than $100,000.
Yes. So now is the perfect time to be going asking for $100,000.
Yeah.
And to be
maybe ask for a bit more.
Oh, sure. But if you need to build your confidence, ask for $100,000.
Yeah.
So if your comfort level is, okay, I'm comfortable asking for 10,000, I want you to add a 0 to that and go ask for 100. If you're comfortable asking for 100,000, well, maybe move that up to 500,000. Right. So asking for money, but it's never about the deal. It's about you. So you got to be able to learn how to sell yourself and build confidence. So it may take you a few tries, but eventually you're going to get to a point where people just want to be part of the excitement and the joy that you are bringing to the idea of real estate investing or whatever you're doing. That becomes impactful, but that's not the word I'm looking for. Contagious. People want to be part of it.
Will create income when they could not previously build wealth, create income, cash flow. Like, there's not many people who can do it on their own.
No,
and a lot of people who aren't willing to
be done on your own either.
Yeah.
It's a team sport. And when you understand that and see how much fun you can make in building wealth through a team sport and taking a piece of the pie instead of, it's not a lot learned. Well, there's the transactional piece that's learned in doing it all yourself, but there's so much more to be bringing in other people. And with the expectation that it's going to go well.
So you're good at this. So a couple of questions that come to my head are, you're happier than the average person.
I would think so, yeah.
Do you practice gratitude?
Oh, yes, 100%.
Okay. How do you practice gratitude?
I have the privilege, and it didn't start this way, of spending the first 2 hours of my day, and I wake up when I want to wake up. I don't wake up. I'm not a 5 a.m. person. I'm probably a 6:30 person, and I naturally wake up. But I spend the first hour to 2 hours of my day doing meditation, writing gratitude lists, journaling, all that sort of stuff that sort of, I call it my pre-paving for the day. And it just sort of sets my energy in the right direction, and so that my focus is on positive stuff. So I find the days that I don't do that, when a negative thing comes into my world, I start looking at all the worst possibilities. But when I spend my day and I set the tone for gratitude, then I start looking, okay, this is a not so great situation. How can I make it a great situation? And I can give you an example. I've recently had a situation where a unit of mine became vacant, and it was sort of a disaster. And my property management said, it's going to cost you this much in order to get it fixed. And I can't get to it for 6 weeks. And I'm like, ugh. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, all these people have, out of the blue, have contacted me, potential contractors, wanting to do work for me and possibly picking up one of my flips. So I'm like, this is a great opportunity to test drive them to see how well they might do so that I can put them on a bigger job. So I contacted one of them and I said, hey, listen, I've got this thing. I want it done as fast as possible. When would be the earliest that you could do it? And he gets back to me, how's Friday for you? I'm like, sweet. I was hoping like sometime next week. And and I was going to get a bin. I was like, okay, I'm just going to drop the bin off. He's like, nope, I got 2 trailers. You send some university students over and we'll get it done. And the kids are there as we speak, cleaning it out. And my daughter's been calling a couple of times because she's part of the team this time, saying that, the place is empty. They're just down to cleaning now. And, I could have waited 6 weeks, but now I've got this guy that has shown potential, and he's going to do the fixes that need to be done, but that's shown initiative. And I just love the go-get attitude. So I'm excited I found something new out of a negative thing that has happened. So for, not quite 24 hours, I was annoyed. And now it's just like, this is awesome.
And then how'd the price point come in?
I don't know yet, but it'll be significantly less than the quote that I was given. I know that for a fact. But just because he had the foresight, I don't need a bin. I've got these 2 trailers. We can do it really quick. So you can see how he's thinking to conserve money, which I appreciate from a contractor's perspective.
So, Susan, we're going to keep things real here. Because on the outside, everything looks great with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I was mentioning, you look healthy.
Yeah, I am.
And I even asked you if you're down to your high school weight.
I am.
You haven't always been like this.
No. Honestly, I had a really rough year. There's no question about it. Went through separation, which was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, just because I've got 3 kids, and it just, when you make that decision as a couple, it sort of rocks their world, right? And your priority becomes them, and you're afraid to make a move that's going to devastate them. So that was a really hard decision to make. And it's just a year of a lot of growth, a lot of soul searching, because I went in, why couldn't I fix this? Why couldn't I have, A-type personality? And at some point you're like, okay, it's not working. And then I spent the year, how can I take this experience and make myself a better version of myself? So it was a challenging year. but grateful for it. I had a lot of health problems this past year, which I think were mental issues that I just was not dealing with.
Right.
Like I'm excellent at covering up or ignoring or trying to push through situations. And I finally got to a point where, okay, I can't. And it showed up in health situations. So I ended up, I've got a coach and we work through the mental side of that, but I still have the physical stuff to deal with. And then I went and saw a naturopath and she pulled me off of gluten. She pulled me off dairy. She pulled me off raw vegetables and raw fruit. And the first thing that happened is I was like losing weight. I'm like, okay, I don't have a lot to lose, but I plateaued. And so now I actually think this is the weight I'm actually supposed to be at. I feel great. I've got more energy than I've ever had. And everything seems to be bouncing back health-wise. So, yeah.
Health, physical health and mental health?
Yeah. The mental health has been great for a little bit now. The physical has been slow, but I would say that I'm just about there. Like, ready to maybe probably, it's been years since I've run. Running used to be an amazing escape for me. I love to go running. I really enjoy the runner's high. Haven't done that for years. So not on a consistent basis. I've gone here and there, but I think this summer I might go back into that world just for fun. We'll see. But I was having knee issues and feet issues and gastro issues like all over the place. And now it's all sort of resolved. And in a good place.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing. I know you weren't always sharing.
No, I definitely had the mentality of, I have learned through this that there's strength in vulnerability. Whereas I had this thing where I needed to handle everything on my own. And the separation has taught me that, you don't have to have your excuse my French, shit together all the time.
Right.
It's okay to lean on other people, which I was never doing before. And now I do it more frequently.
Right. And then, I've been divorced. I forget the year I was divorced. It's been a while now. 2010-ish, I think. And I experienced something similar in that being an A-type and being someone who I consider myself resistant, right? I've a pretty high appetite for pain and tolerance. And so my thinking was, we can fix this. And really, we should have just let it go a lot sooner.
I think going through the process, like in hindsight, yes. But if you didn't do all the steps to prove to yourself that you probably just need to let go, I would never want to regret. So I maybe should have made the decision earlier, but I'm glad that I took the time to make that decision.
How are you today compared to going into separation?
Oh my God. The biggest word I can use is lighter and more joyful. And I'm just so afraid. And my co-partner, I don't like using the word ex, co-parenting partner, we're great now. Like our conversations and our communication wasn't fantastic. We're at a better place where we can talk now and are back to friends as opposed to having this pressure of trying to be a couple. So that was not something I was expecting. I was so afraid that he was going to hate me forever, right? Like that was a massive fear for me. Someone that's been in your life forever and having them hate you, like to me, did not sit well with me. And that was a huge fear. But we have hit this place, and I hope it'll last, we'll see, where we just communicate really well and see the world very similar and respect each other, but in each other's own space.
So in my experience, we actually divested everything. Anything that we owned together jointly, we sold it all, or they bought me out. Right? Is that your experience? Because I'm sure people are thinking that. That's probably one of the things that they're worried about.
Yeah. We have not done that. We have chosen to stay business partners for a couple of reasons. Because we're communicating so well, we kind of sort of think that we can make it work.
Right. And you make him a lot of money.
And I make him a lot of money.
Let's be honest here.
Yeah, he does pretty good through me. We've separated it out so that if things do go sour, that it'll be an easy split. If for us to, okay, we've hit that point, we need to separate it out further. So we've done that. But the intent is that what I was doing and has always been a legacy for the kids. So, and we both have the same priority that this is a legacy for the kids. So in us divesting and everything, we're hurting the kids. So that is, as long as we keep that as our focus, we believe that we'll be able to continue to work as a team with kids.
That's some kind of legacy you're leaving them.
I know, right?
You're raising rich kids.
You know what? The bigger legacy is really the mindset that we're giving them, the children. But I would love them to have a huge platform to stand off of. And let's see where they can take it, right? That's kind of my attitude. And I'll just kind of be in the wings guiding. We'll see. My son seems to have some interest. He talks about wanting to do what I do. The girls, not so much, but we'll see.
Interesting. Yeah, I think, like, for myself as a parent, I think it'd be pretty nice if my kids were mortgage free.
Right.
Because imagine someone getting into a mortgage today. Even if you make $100,000, you want to buy a condo in downtown Toronto.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, you're probably looking at least $600,000, $700,000.
Yeah.
That's it. So you're looking at like a $600,000 mortgage.
But I would never encourage someone new buying a condo. I'd be like, go get yourself a legal 2-unit, 3-unit, live in one and rent out the other. When your finances improve, move upstairs, rent the basement. When your finances improve, move out, pull your money out, go buy the house you want, keep that property. That, I mean, it seems like a disadvantage because they have to have a tenant, but I think in the long run, they're going to be so much further ahead if they can accept that they are going to bring in tenants. And if you live in a condo building, you've got tenants all over. You got tenants beside you, above you, below you. The difference of owning a duplex or a triplex is you can dictate what those tenants do, right? So you can choose who goes in. You buy into a condo building, you have no choice who moves next to you. So I'm like, why do you worry about tenants when, like, it actually benefits you, right? Just my attitude.
Just screen for tenants that are nice.
And screen for tenants like you, right? Because the best ones I've seen are like the relationships where they actually get together and they start to hang out and they support each other. You know, my dog, I'm going to be away. Will you let my dog out? Or can you let the service guy in? That happens. People think, oh, you know, I don't want to have tenants, but there's amazing things that can happen with tenants. Supportive things they're there all the time. You want to take a week away. Yeah. You've got tenants there to make sure the house is okay.
Yeah. I used to rent my basement to cops.
Perfect.
So I was like, hey, we're not going to be here. So if you hear anyone upstairs, can you just take care of it?
Yeah. Question lawyers. I'd be a little nervous about, not that I wouldn't, but I'd be a little hesitant, maybe.
Oh, can I ask you about dating?
What do you want to know about dating?
So I made the joke before we were recording because we were talking about your experience dating.
Yes.
I'm sure there's some guys who would like to attract a Susan White. So what is it you're looking for? So name where you've been looking. What do you see when you see a profile? What are you screening for?
I've been looking on some online dating sites just because it's COVID, and realistically, how much you just don't have a lot of exposure to other people. So online dating seems to be the only venue. I've tried all of them. Currently, I don't want to. I'm looked at Match and Elite. For me, it's about freedom. I have a lot of freedom in my time, and I share my kids. So I have time in the middle of the week. And if I would love someone to be able to say, okay, let's go skiing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or someone with that flexibility. So yeah, I'm looking for entrepreneurs that aren't tied to a 9 to 5 or executives that aren't tied to a 9 to 5. So that's really big for me. When I look at a profile, I want to see, like, what I'm really looking for is lots of activity, like doing stuff, right? Like, I want to experience life. So I'm looking for people that want to experience life, right? Whether they're, traveling or ski doing or sea doing or pictures of that intrigues me. Planes, whatever it might be. I don't know. What else do you want to know?
You mentioned some no's. So not no's, like some suggestions not to do. You mentioned like sunglasses, for example.
It drives me crazy when guys wear sunglasses in their main profile, because I am big. Like your eyes tell you a lot in my view. So when I see sunglasses, I'll look for pictures without sunglasses, but I'm like, lose the sunglasses. Fish. The number of guys that have these.
We just had sushi. Come on.
I'm like, great, you can fish. Well, I'm not interested in fishing.
Are they wearing sunglasses and do they hold a fish?
Some of them.
Yeah. Okay. So.
What are other things that?
What if they had like a deer or a bear?
You know what? I'm kind of a nature girl. Like,
those are nature. They were in nature when they found them.
Yeah.
Let's move on. But yeah, so you wanted to see people who have freedom
that are experiencing life and enjoying life, right? I want high vibration people, people that looking to share their life, not fill a void, so to speak.
So you are seeking them out. You're not just waiting for them to come to you.
Well, I wait for them to contact me on. I guess I'm a little old school from that perspective.
You're an old romantic.
But I'll respond when they respond to me.
Don't you get a lot of inquiries?
Okay, I don't want to respond to everything.
Right. Because that's what I hear from the ladies is that
they get a lot.
They get a lot.
Yeah, I'm not responding to that much because I don't respond.
How many in a day or week? How
many do I get?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not on it every day either. I don't know.
Because we're not a dating show. We'll get back to real estate eventually. We'll get back to something investing in a second. But what I want people to know is that women are pursued and not so much the other way. So
Bumble is set up the other way. I'm just not on Bumble.
Just thinking for like the guys that are out there, they have to understand that's the dynamic online.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't just put up your own stuff and expect people to hunt you down.
Well, you could, but you might not have great success.
Yeah, I might not have great success. Like, did you have critique for my own? I showed you my match profile picture.
I just think you look better now. Is what I said, which I think is a great thing.
Do you need to see it again?
No, I remember it.
Okay.
I remember it. I just think I don't know what it is. You look very young.
Yeah. That was 2009.
Yeah.
That picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's great that you look better now than you did then.
Thank you. I think I look a lot older.
I think when you can look better the older you get, there's something amazing about that. I personally think I look better than I did 10 years ago too. And I think I'm happier and it shows up in my appearance.
And you don't seem to have much trouble attracting suitors.
I'm doing all right.
Again, Susan's being modest. So I have to ask a bit about stock hacking.
Sure.
So you had no interest previous to me telling you about it.
No, I think you hounded me for at least a year.
I hound everybody. I'm sorry.
It's all good. No, it's with the right intentions. Yeah, definitely with the right intentions.
And how's it going?
I love it now. It's like, I think we were talking about this. It's like a game for me. And I spend in a day, maybe 15 minutes to half an hour, depending on how much I feel like 3-4 times a week.
So very minimal.
Yeah, because I'm doing the basic. But the impact I've seen, like I was at 50-something% since inception, which is May. Because of this week, I'm not there, but I'm still kicking butt.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, oh my God, I have been teaching people, no, real estate. And this has taught me that my beliefs were off.
Mhm.
And that I was like pushing people into real estate where it was too big of a bite for them to take. And so now I love the stock hacking because it's like $10,000 and it's an easy bite for them to take. And it's protected with Lee giving his advice, like cheat off the smartest kid in the class. Absolutely makes sense. You can make some cash flow, build your confidence, and then move into a bigger step like a real estate investing. I love the new ways of making passive income. And it has taught me that I've been small thinking in terms of being able to support other people. And now I'm like, no, you make money, the way you can make money that's the easiest for you and brings you most joy. And let me show you some options.
It's nice to have options.
Because not everything works for everybody, right?
Right.
Whereas a lot of my colleagues or our colleagues, I've been kind of the jack of all trades where it comes to real estate investing. And some people love, rent to own and I get bored. So I want to be where the fun is for me. And it's kind of been all over the board.
Right.
So a little bit of everything.
Because you did student rentals. You did lots of rent to own.
I had student rentals, rent to own. I went to Calgary to add some joy and fun.
You're being sarcastic, folks.
Well, no, initially it was fun.
Calgary's lovely.
Well, I went there. Building the team there for me was a ton of fun. I loved it. But then it went sour. What else have I done? I've done flips. I've done wholesaling, a little bit of everything. Legal suites. Legal suites is what seemed to be the most intimidating, but it's a formula and it's trusting your team. That's it. And cookie cutter.
And then we were talking about before we were recording. We probably should have just recorded from the beginning.
Yeah. There's some good stuff there.
Because we were talking about beliefs.
Yes.
We need to talk about that too. Like my own issues. And I said to you, I don't have any beliefs. And you said, you have beliefs. And then I corrected myself in saying, I will revise my beliefs when new information is available.
Yes.
And then, do you remember what your response to that was? It was along the lines of...
No, I don't remember what I said.
It's along the lines of, well, people who do well...
Oh, yeah. If you don't change your beliefs, especially to new information, you get stuck. But if you can change your beliefs, you just keep expanding and what your potential is, right? That's basically, I don't know that I did a great job explaining that.
It's okay. For example, and I shared the example yesterday, how I have many clients whose parents grew up through hyperinflation. So they were taught debt is bad, pay everything cash, pay off your mortgage as fast as possible, right? So that was appropriate for that time. But here we are in like almost zero interest rates.
It's insane if you don't have a mortgage because that's cheap money. And to be using mortgage money or home equity lines of credit or lines of credit to build your wealth. So using debt to build your wealth is huge opportunity. Like, don't use debt to feed your consumer world. Use debt to build your wealth. But people are afraid of it. 100% people are afraid of it. People try and pay off their mortgages as fast as possible. Pay off your mortgage, your personal mortgage, as fast as you possibly can, sure. But add a line of credit to that so that you can write off the interest and invest it. Invest that money.
And then the bigger thing is just the mindset of being open-minded. Like for myself, I'm always like, oh, you make money in that? You can do it consistently? Please tell me more.
Yes.
Versus
it's exposure.
Versus so many people are like, oh, real estate, that's risky. The tenants will all stop paying you.
Yeah.
Oh, auctions, that's risky. You'll lose all your money.
Yeah.
Right?
Because we are raised. Okay. I'm going to go right into it a little bit.
Oh, boy.
Where do your beliefs come from? So when you're born, all this information comes into you. You get information from your parents, from your community, from your family members, from media. And when you're born, you have no capacity to say, yeah, this is true and that's true, or that's not true. But as you get older, we have the ability to say, yeah, that's true, this isn't true. But we don't do a great job of deciphering what is what is actually true and what isn't true. We kind of let everything in, and then we get stuck in the people that raised us and the people that teach us in their beliefs. Really, a lot of your beliefs are what other people have told you. And if you're not challenging those or seeking out people that are doing the opposite, of course you're going to believe that, because that's what you've been exposed to and that's what you've been shown. But the minute you walk into an Erwin Senso's office and see that he's doing like stock hacking and making a ton of money and doing real estate and making a ton of money, it's really hard for you to hold on to your beliefs, or you're stuck in a, well, you can do that, but I can't do that. But why?
Yeah.
You need to be asking yourself, why can't I do what he's doing? What makes him different? And you need to hang out with him until you figure out what he's doing and why he's doing it, so that you start thinking the way he's thinking, then you start believing the way he believes. And guess what? Eventually your reality is going to be what your reality is. So that's kind of where I want to really focus my attention going forward on teaching other people that, you know what, you can control what you think. You are not your thoughts. You decide what you think, but we don't. We spend so much time just accepting the thoughts that are going through our mind, but they bring, like, if you're in a negative loop, they bring up anxiety and stress and all this stuff. But if you just pivoted and focused on, well, what's good about this situation, and started looking for the opportunities, then you're going to start to see opportunities, and you could quickly change your thoughts into new beliefs.
When's the book coming out?
I just talked with you guys about the outline. So I don't know.
It's just an outline? We're in trouble.
We're in trouble? Well, yeah. Yesterday was chapter ideas. You guys really walked me through how to make it appealing to you guys. So I don't know. If I could get it out before the end of the year, that would be fantastic.
Well, I told you how to make it applicable to us.
Yes, I'm going to.
You're going to read it to us.
Definitely going to be on Audible, for sure.
Oh, what does Susan White Livermore want to do on the bigger stage? I didn't want to say the word. I just didn't have another word for it.
I eventually want to take these concepts and these ideas and get on the bigger stage and talk to people, inspire people to, you are living the reality of your thoughts right now. And if you want to change your world, you got to change your thoughts. What'll change your beliefs? And I want to impact the way people are thinking and understand that you don't have to live in this anxiety. It's what you're focusing on. And if you focus on all the negative things that are going on in the world, so if you have the media playing all the time, media sells negativity. Negativity sells. So it's not going to be surprising that you're going to have a lot of anxiety. You're going to have a lot of fear coming up. But if you shut that down and then just focus on the things that you can control, your world changes. Your world changes. And then, okay, let's add some gratitude in there so that we're pre-paving our day and getting us focused on positive things so that our mind is thinking positive. I know it's buzzwords, people, but for me, it works. It works to, something's not going my way. I'll try and find what opportunity or what lesson do I have out of this that is I can flip to make a positive, like the story I talked about the unit that went vacant that was going to have to wait 6 weeks. I figured out a way of making it work for me. But if I got stuck in anger and frustration that they couldn't get to it, my mind would have shut down to other opportunities. I wouldn't have seen it. And now, like 24 hours later, I'm like, this is freaking awesome. Like, what else can I get them to do? Because I was so impressed with how quickly they worked. And I went in with the expectation that they're going to do a good job for me. And I always go in with the expectation that people are going to do a fantastic job. And twofold, because I think I show up for them different. I show up anticipating a good job, and that the energy I give off is appreciating them for who they are. And to me, if I come in with any hesitation, any fear, then that's going to show up in their work somewhere. And Not to say I haven't had bad contractors. I absolutely have had, but I know that if I have a bad contractor, it's easy for me to pull them in the middle of a job and put somebody else on. I've done it before. I know I can do it again. So bringing in someone that I've never worked with, I never worry about it. I go in expecting that it's going to be great, and until you prove me wrong. And sometimes it's a communication thing. Oh, I didn't give you enough communication of what I needed from you. And sometimes it went sour, but more often than not, when I go in with the expectation that things are going to go well, I can always find great things that happened out of the experience.
Now, the first note I made that we needed to talk about today was being frugal. Can you share what you shared when I was asking you if we should do a new kitchen or not?
Yeah. Where do I start with this? It's a belief of mine. I have this belief that everybody sort of has a money set point, that you are comfortable with a certain amount of money in your bank account, whatever it is. And the minute you spend that and you get this uncomfortable level, and your mind automatically goes into, well, how can I make that up? And you start looking for opportunities, and the opportunities come faster than if that money just sat in the bank account. Okay. Because there's no necessary effort to fill that discomfort. So I'm all over doing the things that are spend money to bring joy into your life. Don't hesitate to spend money to bring joy in your life, because I know if you have you've set yourself at a certain comfort level, your mind is always going to play to that comfort level, and you're going to see opportunities where you didn't necessarily see opportunities before, because you're looking to fill that discomfort. I'm a big believer and I had a coach that pushed me to buy an expensive car. And because I was driving a mom vehicle, I was driving a Buick Enclave, and I liked my Buick Enclave. And he's like, Susan, you are asking people for hundreds of thousands of dollars, and this does not scream that you are the multimillionaire that you are. And so he's like, I know it sounds pretentious, but people see that, and you can afford this. You are worth it. And for me, walking into that car store, and it's compared to some of the people I know in the cars that they drive, it's not even that expensive, but I felt like a fish out of water. I did not feel like I was worthy of driving that. I couldn't wait to get out of there, because I was like, I didn't see myself as worthy, even though I had the money to pay for it. Yeah. There was a block there. But the minute I said, you know what? Okay, I'm going to do what he wants me to do. And for my birthday a few years ago, I went and bought the car.
What car is it?
I bought a QX 80, Infinity QX 80. So I call it my big, beautiful beast. I always give my cars a good name, a positive name.
Beautiful beast. Okay.
My beautiful beast, because it is a beast.
It's big.
Yes, but I feel super safe in it. And I do see difference in how people respond and how I respond. Hey, I am worthy of driving this vehicle. There's nothing wrong with me driving this vehicle. But that was a belief I had too, right? I had this belief that if you drive an expensive car, you're greedy, you're pretentious. Why?
Yeah.
If it brings you joy, if it brings you comfort, why do I have to have that belief? There's if I put that in my mindset and I have that belief, there's no desire to go to the next level and the next level after that. I'm not greedy. I am just created how many jobs for how many people to give me this car. That's amazing, right? So that was a belief. And, I had other beliefs that, money doesn't grow on trees. Well, I have figured out ways of making money grow on trees, the equivalent thereof, right?
Well, the government can make money grow on a spreadsheet. So
right?
Why can't we?
Yes. It's a money block. It's a money block. Yeah. So I really believe that people should spend money. But spend money that brings you joy. If you're spending money mindlessly, that's a problem. But if you're spending money because it brings you joy, it always comes around.
Right.
It always comes around. And the best way to spend money for joy is giving money away. Have you ever given money away? You do it all the time for charity. You cannot find greater joy. Like just that feeling of giving that money away, watch that come back at you tenfold.
I think charity work is one of the most mentally mental health, anything. Because, when people say like, oh, I have it so bad, you haven't seen the people we help at our charity.
Yeah. Well, when you can give whatever you can afford, it makes you feel abundant. And there's that feeling that the ability to bring the feeling of abundance to you creates more abundance. You want to attract more. So when you give, you feel like you have lots to give.
Mm-hmm.
There's a feeling of, I can afford this, and you attract more of the same.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you go, I can't afford this, then you start to tense up. Like Kiyosaki taught me when I first started learning about building wealth. Expand to what you want. Don't contract, because you can never save yourself to a multi-million. Yeah. So when we start to get those negative fear, conserve, you really have to pay attention. Hey, what am I doing here? What is making me afraid? And start trying to move yourself away from the fear belief, whatever that fear belief is, to I have more than enough money to be able to do everything I need to do. And I have the ability to draw whatever I need to draw to me at any given point. But the minute you focus on fear and start to, oh, I don't have enough money, that's all you start to see. That's all you start to see. But so when you really feel afraid that you don't have enough money, the best thing you can do for yourself is give an amount to charity that you are uncomfortable giving. And watch how abundant you feel and how you start to look for opportunities to match that abundance.
We're going to spend a whole bunch on renovations.
Maybe you need to give some money to charity too. So not you do. You do a ton, but just remember that you're doing that. Therefore, you're very abundant.
Awesome. Susan, any final words? Okay, so first of all, where can people follow along in your journey?
Would love for you to follow me on Instagram at at millionaire.mom.enterprises. Or you can find me on Facebook at Millionaire Mom, or my website is millionairemom.ca. Happy to hear from you, comments, whatever. Send me a DM. Yeah, that's where they can find me.
No dating requests or allowed?
That just gets really awkward.
And then any final words you want to share with the listener?
I give this tip to everyone. I think this is the tip that I give it frequently, but I believe in it so much. If you want to change your world and you want to put it on the fast track, and this is the last thing that you'll read in my book, the fastest way to do that is to find the people that are already living the way you want to live. So find the people that are, if you want to make a lot of money, you want to do it with fun and you want to do it with joy, find those people that are doing it and bring those people into your world. Start spending some time with those people, whether it's on a podcast, whether it's, if you can get them live, that's awesome. Because what is happening is you are the average of the 6 people you spend most of your time with. And you spend so much time because you think the same and you have the same ideas, and there's commonality in those are your friends because you all see the world sort of similarly, right? You want to expand that. Start hanging out with people that are different from you, that are achieving what you want to do, and start listening to them and absorbing what they have to say. Sooner or later, you're going to start thinking the way they think, and you're going to start believing what they think. And ultimately you'll land where they are, their reality. But you gotta be in their presence to see the way they see the world and start absorbing that. That's the fastest way to make change, because you'll see if they're doing it and you watch how they do it, it's really hard not to say, well, why can't I do the same thing? Mm-hmm. So to me, bringing other people is your way of changing your reality, by bringing those people into your world, whether it's on somebody's, people that have great relationships, start spending, and you want to improve your relationships, start spending time with those people that have great relationships. You want to make great money, start hanging out with people that are making money in a joyful way that you want to be making money. Whatever it is, find those people that are already doing it and start exposing yourself to them.
Thank you, Susan. Can I have one more question? I heard this on a different podcast.
Okay.
So I thought I'd try it out on you.
All right. Here goes.
What's the nicest thing anyone's ever done for you?
Oh, wow. I go into the most recent thing. I can only think of the most recent thing that, Valentine's Day, I was by myself, whatever, had the kids were away, and all of my kids on their own decided that, mom's home by herself, and they all specifically went out and got something for me on Valentine's Day. I was like, that is the sweetest, right? Maybe not the nicest thing anybody's done for me, but to me, it spoke to my children's character that, they are caring people, and they no longer saw me as the hero, but as a human, and their compassion came out, and I was like blown away by them. So to me, that was probably the most recent.
That's pretty cool.
It was cute. It was adorable. And yeah, I had roses everywhere, but it was amazing.
Because when you said it, I was thinking, oh, you did something right.
Yeah, it was, these kids are doing well. Yeah.
Amazing. All right, we got to get people recording.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you again, Susan, for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me, Aaron.
Before you go, if you're interested in learning more about an alternative means of cash flowing like hundreds of other real estate investors have already, then sign up for my newsletter and you'll learn of the next free demonstration webinar I'll be delivering on the subject of stock hacking. It's a much improved demonstration over the one that I gave to my cousin Chubby at Thanksgiving dinner in 2019. He now averages 1% cash flow per week, and he's a musician by trade. As a real estate investor myself, I got into real estate for the cash flow, but with the rising costs to operate a rental business, it's just not the same as it was 5 to 10 years ago when I started. Never forget that cash flow reduces your risk. The more you have, the more lumps you can absorb. And if you have none or limited cash flow, you're going to be paying out of your pocket, like I did on a recent basement flood at my student rental in St. Catharines, Ontario. If you're interested in learning more, register for free for my newsletter at www.truthaboutrealestateinvesting.ca. Enter your name and email address on the right side. We'll include in the newsletter when we announce our next free stock hacker demonstration. Find out for yourself what so many real estate investors are doing to diversify and increase their cash flow. And if you can't tell, I love teaching and sharing this stuff.